Until I had my own daughter, I used to think that I'm simply too immature to uh, to inhabit the role of a parent. After I had her, I felt pretty up to the task, and I thought that I've suddenly attained some divine wisdom. And then, as time went on, I realized that I was just pretending and I was just pretending to be adulting. Now, I'm not trying to extrapolate and force this upon everybody else. This is something that's probably unique to me. But what I can share is that for many of us, I think there is a significant and real part of our beings that remains very childlike in terms of how it responds and reacts and interprets a lot of things, stimuli that bombards us. And it isn't necessarily from a lens and perspective of wisdom and maturity, but rather from a place of purity and innocence that our most instinctive reactions are to the stimulus that we encounter. Now, the reason I'm sharing this simply is because even in psychology terms, on a perfectly serious note, there is the concept of the inner child, and that inner child, as the name suggests, is that formative, purer, baser child that resides in each of us deep inside and continues to be there. And if that inner child at a certain stage and age in life has not been treated with, let's say, kid gloves and with a certain amount of awareness and sensitivity, then it can cause problems later on. And therefore, it's a very, very important facet to understand and delve into, and also gain some awareness of what ways we can be potentially impacted if our respective inner child is feeling less or diminished or deficit in any manner. And joining us to talk about this is the vastly experienced Jalpa Sri Mali, and she is a therapist and a well-being consultant. Also, somebody I've known as a co-parent and have great admiration and respect for. So this is Talk Therapy, brought to you by Driveway Devi. I'm Karthik on behalf of Driveway Devi, and we're calling this very, very important session Embalming the Inner Child. And I would like to begin by extending a heartfelt gratitude to Jalpa for making the time and welcome her onto the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karthik. And thank you for having me here on this platform. And I really hope this conversation reaches out to everybody who's looking forward to heal themselves and understand what inner child is and how this, the tools that we are going to share today can help them in their journey of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But before we can get into the inner workings of our inner child, as is usually the case, मैं हमेशा अपने गेस्ट से पूछता हूं कि वो अपने बारे में और अपनी थेरेप्यूटिक प्रैक्टिस के बारे में प्लीज हमारी ऑडियंस को कुछ बताएं, बिकॉज इट्स बेस्ट that you yourself explain a little bit rather than anybody else doing it.
Yeah, sure. So, very quickly, if I have to tell about myself, I work as a therapist. I have created the center called Atma Bodh, the Path Within, here in Jaipur. And I work with clients, people who come to me for any kind of guidance that they are seeking in their life. if they are struggling with any emotions, any issues, and if they feel that they need any kind of therapeutic intervention with whatever they are struggling with. So I am somebody who can help them with this. Uh, I do this through a lot of modalities that I practice, that I've learned in the past few years of my life. And I practice modalities like inner child healing, hypnotherapy, clinical hypnotherapy, TASO, past life regression, metaphor therapy, transactional analysis, CBT, access consciousness, family constellations, just to name a few. So, yeah, this is what I do.
Wonderful. I mean, that's really good to know because, as I've been interacting with more and more mental health professionals, मुझे ये एक, I don't want to call it a trend because that somehow has a negative connotation to it, but so many of you now more and more seem to be evolving your own hybrids, systems, and ethos, which takes certain sort of best practices from a range of modalities. एंड आई थिंक जो वो एक बहुत होलिस्टिक फिर एक गाइडेंस का की एक फिलॉसफी बन जाती है और ऑफरिंग होती है दैट बिकम्स अ लॉट मोर रोबस्ट बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली वन कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट individual modalities either have certain inherent limitations or they don't, no one size fits all. So different strokes for different folks. So it's good to know that you've exposed yourself and qualified yourself in so many different ways. That's wonderful. ओके, तो अब हमें प्लीज बिल्कुल आम भाषा में पहले ये बताइए व्हाट इज इनर चाइल्ड.
Okay. In the simplest of language, I can say that inner child is a symbolic representation of the parts of us, not just one single part, but multiple parts of us that form between, I'll not say our birth, but I would rather say when the time we were conceived till the later years of our childhood. It might also form in the later years of our child. So inner child doesn't mean that it has to be a very, young
Early
child
on.
or yeah, little child formed within us. It that the part can actually be formed late in our teens also, early in 20s also. It depends. Yes, but mostly we say that in therapy, as a therapist, I can say that there has to be some root cause of whatever triggers that we face later in child. The root cause has to be some or the other inner child that was formed in the early childhood.
Thank you for explaining that very simply. Huh.
Just to add to it, how is an inner child formed? How is that part formed? So it is formed because of some or the other trauma that we face as a child. It could be some kind of an unresolved emotional pain, or maybe our unmet needs, or any difficult experience that we've been through as a child that we were not really ready enough or we didn't have enough resources to cope up with that. Right? It could, again, it could be some kind of emotional neglect that we have faced as a child, or maybe if we have felt unsafe as a child sometime or multiple times, or if we've been through any kind of a harsh criticism or shaming during our childhood, or bullying if we have been a victim of bullying. There is also something known as parentification, if we had to grow up too soon because of the issues that were going on in the family, or if we've been abandoned or rejected by our primary caretakers or teachers, or any kind of other traumatic experience that we've been through, like some kind of a loss or illness or abuse or separation, to name a few. So these are few traumatic experiences that a child may have gone through, or we may have gone through in our childhood, which maybe we may have forgotten as an adult. We may remember them, those incidents, we may forget them, but they leave a permanent impression on our psyche. And as a result of that influence, we, or maybe we can say that influence our thoughts, our behavior, our relationships, also our self image to a great extent as adults. That is how crucial child trauma is.
You've explained that very beautifully, और आपने उसको contextualize भी किया था, which is what I was going to ask you next, because somebody like me only understands with examples. मेरे दो सवाल हैं. I'm going to ask both of them together only because फिर मैं भूल जाऊंगा, but I'll try and remember in any case. मुझे जो भी थोड़ी बहुत समझ है साइकोलॉजी की, एक तो मुझे ये जानना है कि इनर चाइल्ड जो इम्पैक्ट होता है, फॉर्म होता है ड्यू टू सर्टन incidents or a certain threat perception, how is that a completely different phenomenon from attachment style? Is attachment style something that impacts inner child? So that is one question. And the other question is because obviously, part of what a child may feel in terms of sustaining any or enduring any trauma is not feeling safe or a certain threat perception. Is the act of childbirth itself something that can be traumatic to the child?
So I'll answer your first question first. So inner child trauma can show up in adults in various forms like fear of abandonment or rejection. It could be people pleasing. It could be struggles with low self worth or unable to love yourself, low self love, conflict and anxiety in relationships. It could be, again, perfectionism. It could be addictions. It could be compulsive behaviors. It could be, again, the way you show up in the world, the way you express yourself, or the way you don't express yourself, maybe. No, that is what I would say. So yes, there are various attachment styles which depend upon the kind of childhood traumas that you've had. Of course, if you've had if you didn't really have to go through those traumas in your childhood, and if your childhood was relatively good, maybe you develop as an adult a secure attachment, wherein if you have received a consistent unconditional love, if your caregivers responded to you with warmth and reliability and compassion, so that's you grew up to be a very secure adult, right? So also I want to tell you here that when we see people, when we see conflicts in relationships, or when it happens with our with us, with our relationships, a lot of times we tend to judge the other person or ourselves. But trust me, most of the times it's a tussle between one inner child with the other, not one adult with the other. So, and
So
hence
true.
the whole concept of inner child is even more important, because then otherwise, you tend to develop an insecure attachment style. If your caregivers sometimes loved you, sometimes didn't, if you always felt that fear of abandonment, if
And then, of
everything
course, it can
depended.
go into various
Yes,
avoidant and etc. etc.
various. Again, there are so many other attachment styles like avoidant, like disorganized. So I'll not go into the details of
Right,
all
right.
of them, but all I want to tell you here is, yes, a lot of it, a major chunk of it depends upon the inner child traumas that you faced as kids. It's definitely going to show up in your life as an adult, in the relationships as an adult, yeah,
Got
in
it.
your
Got it.
career as an adult.
Right. And my second question was the question about childbirth itself.
Yeah. See, again, a lot of people say that, it starts from your birth, but I would rather go to the extent and say that it starts from the time you are being conceived. When you're being conceived, that moment it starts from, because in my practice I've seen so many clients of mine, when we do this work, and when they are being regressed to the past life, the current life, to their childhood, a lot of times they go back to the time when they were just about to be born, or when they were still a few months into the womb. And if the parents were fighting with each other, if there was a lot of conflict, if one parent wanted to have a child but another one did not, so many reasons, even when they are being born, if the family did not want to have a girl child, or if they've already had one or two daughters and now they are expecting a son.
Right, right.
So many factors to it. Even the way a child is being brought into the world. So whether it is a normal birth or is it a C-sec, what devices were used, how is the child feeling in that moment? There are a lot of deciding factors. See, again, I would like to say there are few things that are beyond our that as parents are beyond our control. But then again, there are few things that definitely we can choose to be more aware, more conscious as parents, and decide on to what kind of parents we want to be, what kind of presence we want to give to our children, to our kids. Also, whether you really want to have a child or not is also a question in itself. I mean, just because that is how it has always been, you get married and then you have kids. I mean, again, it's very personally, I would like to say that, and I would like to give this message to audience that if you feel you're not ready, please don't have kids, because
Yep.
it is not something that you can afford to do, as
Half-heartedly.
half-heartedly. Yes, absolutely. So you really want to be prepared, and you really want to be sure, and you really want to work on yourself, I would say. You want to
No, and
heal
I
yourself.
would, I will definitely say that thankfully we are moving towards a societal construct where those kinds of itne rigid jo one had to adhere to what elders in the family were saying, etc. That is changing.
Yes, yes. Yeah, thankfully, yes, it is changing. And having said this, I really don't mean that I'm a perfect parent or something,
Of
or I have,
course.
but then yes, at least if we have that kind of an awareness now, I mean, I of course did not have this awareness when I gave birth to my child, and it's parenting is not something that's a piece of cake. Of course, it is challenging. It has its own ups and downs. So only if you are willing to work upon yourself, if you because you cannot raise a child like an animal, which I see because in most of the dysfunctional families, and unfortunately, I get to see that a lot uh, for the profession that I'm in. Uh, I mean, it's the scene is really bad, and you feel really bad to see such kind of things happening in every other family. But yes, of course, I feel that you really have to be very sure before you plan a kid.
Most certainly. And just
Yeah.
to add a bit of humor to this very serious conversation, in fact, it is precisely that reason that despite all the wisdom, maturity, reading, and knowledge, we will still make mistakes as parents. So we really ought to think that decision through carefully.
Yes. And
One,
in fact, I also want to add here, Karthik, that we will make mistakes as parents. I still make mistakes. I'm bound to make mistakes as a human being. But I need to have that kind of a robust relationship with my kid that even when I end up, shouting at him, yelling at him, or when I go unconscious for a moment and then I realize, okay, I was just triggered maybe. And so I come back to that point and reconnect with my child. I apologize to my child and I tell my child that, look, I'm sorry, I just goofed up, I just made a mistake. And I'm going to be more careful next time. Or maybe if you ever see me doing something like this again, please remind me that, Mama, see, this is happening again. Maybe you need to be a little more mindful about how you are behaving.
absolutely नहीं, I mean your
Yeah.
इसमें मैं जरूर ये add करूंगा to me in terms of ever since I've become a parent and what I've been able to gather is two things. Number one, कि आपका majority समय या पेरेंटिंग का एंगेजमेंट अगर पॉजिटिव है, तो आप सर्टन मिसस्टेप्स अगर करो तो ए यू गो एंड अपोलोजाइज, एंड बी द चाइल्ड विल नो दैट दिस इज out of the ordinary for my parent to be doing. So the status quo will be largely positive. And number two, I really feel that this is born from a larger culture and conspiracy in India and in South Asia, where mistakes it's themselves are frowned upon. कि mistake हो गया तो it's the end of the world. Mistakes is it's only human to make a mistake, and one can only learn from mistakes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so one final question before we sort of get into the more, solution या suggestion part of it, is that, and I find myself asking a lot of mental health professionals this question. I think it's a safe assumption that when we grow up and we have a certain condition or a certain behavioral pattern, हम जो जो व्यक्ति वो खुद उस पैटर्न को डिस्प्ले कर रहा है, उसकी ऑब्जेक्टिव एनालिसिस बहुत कम हो जाती है. दे आर ऑब्वियसली इन अ लॉट ऑफ इंस्टेंसेस नॉट कॉन्शियसली अवेयर दैट दिस इज द पैटर्न आई फॉलन इनटू एंड दिस इज द हैबिट आई फॉलन इनटू. तो while we have discussed various ways in which inner child trauma can manifest, in any of those manifestations, if the individual is largely unaware, how does that person even get help? And then does it boil down to the very close family and friends around that individual who will bring it to their notice, and put them on some kind of journey of reflection, etc.?
Yeah. See, the first step itself is awareness, Karthik. That is how I see it. And the willingness to be aware, most important. So if you are not aware, and if you don't even want to be aware, and if you are okay with the way you are, and you just want to be like that, and you want the world to adjust, I mean, that of course does not lead to any kind of healing. You will remain the same even 10 years down the line. So of course, the first step is willingness to be aware. And when you practice that, the first thing that happens is you start noticing the triggers. You start noticing the emotional reactions of yourself and the other person. And then you want to say if it is happening with you, or a family member. So what you want to ask is, was this an inner child speaking or reacting? Because mostly it is not the adult who's driving, but the inner child that has taken over in moments like these. So you want to ask, okay, was this an inner child that just took over my life, took over my whole being right now? And just recognizing it will reduce the intensity with 50%. I can tell you that.
For sure. I agree with that completely.
Yeah. Because you know that it is something else, it is some other energy, some other part of me that has taken over. And then the moment, so we call it reparenting, right? Because now you want to reparent your inner child. You
Yeah.
don't just want to reparent your kids or parent
Correct.
your kids, you want to now reparent your inner children
Sure.
also, or the younger parts of you. So you identify that younger part, and you may want to ask this question that, okay, how old do I feel right now? Or this part feels now, that just reacted. How old is that part? And what does this feeling remind me of? And almost 100% chances are there that you will be reminded of something that had happened in your childhood. And once you consciously remember what had happened, now you may want to validate those emotions. You may want to, empathize with that part of you. Because as a human being, we are a part of this universe, we are a part of this creation, we are whole and complete. But yes, there are parts of us that may feel broken, that may feel unheard, unseen, that may have gone through those traumatic experiences. So we may want to connect with those parts, validate the emotions, see them, hear them, Ask them how do they feel, how did they actually feel when that had happened, and give them what was missing then. The safety, whatever it is that was not being given in those moments, the love, the safety, the understanding, the validation,
Acceptance.
acceptance, permission to feel. Because a lot of times we were being told, be strong. Boys are being told, don't cry, are you a girl? Girls are being told something else. So unfortunately, a lot of us have not really got what we deserved as children. Not that the parents are to be blamed or something, that is not why I'm saying this, but maybe the parents were going through their own struggles and they were not aware, unfortunately. So yes, to give them what was needed the most, but they could not get it. Also, very important is using your body to feel safe in that moment, because now those inner children are inside our body, in the subconscious, right? So maybe just give yourself a hug. We call it a butterfly hug. Maybe you can count it as one of the tools to heal your inner child. So just tap your shoulders like this as you hug yourself. Imagine that you're actually hugging the younger self that went through that experience, or just hug a pillow. So it is very important to give them safety, to let them feel safe inside your body. To introduce yourself, tell them that, look, I am your future self. I'm sorry I took such a long time, but finally I realized that you needed me and I've come back for you. So, so gradually, so that they can actually be, they can, there can be a transition to an adult response from the inner child response. So once they feel safe, once they feel seen, heard, loved, accepted, validated, then they can, finally integrate
I
with
think there's a
the
certain
adult self.
emotional rationality that can come in then.
Yes, yes. And very important is to be very consistent with this work. Inner child is not a one-day work. You may want to reconnect with your inner child every single day. One beautiful way to do that is maybe through journaling. So you can write letters to your inner children, or if the inner child is feeling a lot of emotions, the inner child can choose to write a letter to the adult self, that this is how I'm feeling right now. It can be a beautiful way of venting out the emotions
Of
that you're
course.
feeling.
But because it's come up in context, very quickly मैं ये जरूर पूछना चाहूंगा that we talked about awareness and thinking back, retracing steps to certain points in life where certain specific incidents took place. Obviously, there is this whole thing where at times we can completely repress incidents, etc., which is where ostensibly, modalities like hypnotherapy would come in and help.
Yes, yes, absolutely. See, there are cases definitely where we need therapeutic intervention. There could be cases of addictions, there could be cases of compulsive behaviors, there could be cases of emotional, inability to regulate your emotions. So, unable to regulate your emotions. So, and there are cases where definitely we need therapeutic intervention. But the tools that I'm suggesting right now for people who know that yes, there have been incidents in the childhood and we would like to work on ourselves. So yeah, these are the tools. But yes, there can be cases where they definitely have to seek a professional help.
Finally, as we wrap up, ये बहुत ही एक तरह से at some level obvious question भी हो सकता है, but it has to be asked. I feel that what are some really, really fundamental steps that parents should be mindful of when bringing up children, particularly at a formative stage?
Yeah. So I think first we need to understand the reason why we want to have a kid. Very fundamental. And once you choose to have a kid, see, because the reason why I'm saying this is I've seen people don't have time to raise kids. I mean, both the parents are working, there is no time to raise a kid, but they still want to have one kid, and now to give company to the first kid, they want to have another kid. I mean, various, I find those reasons very stupid, because you were not having time for the first kid, and now you want to have another kid so that the first kid can get a company. That, I mean, you really have to ask yourself some real serious questions why you want to have kids in the first place. Secondly, again, the same things, how we talked about how we can reparent an inner child, the same way you want to parent a kid. You want to see them, you want to hear them, you want to give them unconditional love. You don't want to force them into doing something that they don't want to do. Again, it's very important we ask valid questions, like, if my child is behaving in a certain way, why is he or she behaving this way? There has to be some reason behind it, because otherwise what we generally tend to do is we just conclude, okay, my child is like this, he doesn't listen, he's not obedient, and so and so on and so forth. So it is important that we have enough time, quality time, to spend with our children, and we want to be present to them, we want to share our life with them. We want to enjoy their childhood, we want to enjoy raising up a kid. Those are phenomenally that should be the base of parenting. And of course, you choose to be conscious as a parent. You don't want to fall back into the patterns of your, the cultural conditioning that we have had, how we were being raised as kids. I mean, it is unfortunate that people say, हमको तो खूब मार पड़ी, डांट पड़ी, हमको तो कुछ भी करते थे पेरेंट्स, हम तो बड़े हो गए, and we have just, we are just fine, we are absolutely fine. No, you're not. And I'm sorry you cannot see that right now,
Yeah.
but people around you would definitely be able to see that there are issues that you can't even acknowledge today.
Most certainly.
Yes. So
But
very,
but
very
speaking
basic.
of this, and you've
Yeah.
brought up the most critical point, I feel, and I would have brought it up myself. This deeply embedded generations of societal constructs, whether it's patriarchy, whether it's a certain gender view. So many families where the patriarch's word is the last word, my way or the highway. You don't question the father. All these, you see these things changing?
Um, Gradually it is. Yes, I definitely see it. I mean, I'll not say that it is changing on a very rapid scale or something like that, but I can say that I see 2 people out of 10 in my journey who have started becoming aware of these patterns, who are willing to work on their patterns, who are willing to, work on their traumas, who are willing to heal themselves, which is a positive sign. But I still feel that there is still a long way to go. I mean, and when I say that, it is applicable on me as much as it is applicable to anybody else. We are all learning.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So, is there anything, in relation to inner child, जो आपको लगता है I've not asked you, you would specifically want to address, that's important in connection with what we've been talking?
Maybe before we, end this session, if there is one more tool that I have to share and which has been a game changer for me and for most of my clients, they would mostly learn it in a therapeutic session, but still I want to give this to them if at all they can practice it themselves, which is a very easy tool. We call it a tapping tool, energy healing tool. Some people call it emotional freedom technique also. So there are 3 steps to it. Number 1, note down the discomfort that you're feeling, the emotion that you're feeling. So whenever you feel that, if somebody is reacting in a great proportion as compared to what has actually happened, there might be an inner child at play. If you're struggling with something, if you're suffering, ask, what is it inside me? What is that part that is suffering? Or where is this reaction coming from? So whatever is that discomfort, note it down out of 10. So for example, I feel extremely angry when my kid does not listen to me. Just
And it's
using this as an example.
disproportionate to that.
Yes. So how much is the anger out of 10 right now? That's the first step. Just mentally note it down. Say if it is 8 out of 10. Second step, you may want to tap or rub this part of this part of your hand, gently like this. And you may want to repeat this sentence 3 times, that even though I feel dash, fill in the blank, because of dash, still I choose to heal and integrate that part of me with all the love and acceptance. So, that part of me is the inner child. We understand that. And whatever is the emotion that you're feeling, you fill it in the first blank and the reason of it in the second blank. So, you repeat this sentence 3 times. Even though I feel dash because of dash, still I choose to heal and integrate that part of me with all the love and acceptance. And one more time. So, total 3 thrice you repeat this, and then you take both the palms on your heart chakra, on your chest, and take 7 deep breaths, 7 to 8 deep breaths. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. This is a self healing technique, and I encourage the audience to use it as many times as needed. And they will observe. We have seen this, I've seen this in my therapies when I make my clients do this. So, if the discomfort is 8 out of 10, by the time we do 2 or 3 rounds of it, it would subside down to 1 or 2 without
Wow.
taking any pills. There is
Mm,
no
mm,
nothing that you have ingested. So it's a very, very powerful process, I would say.
mm. Superb. I mean, that's really, really helpful because the whole idea of these dialogues, apart from sort of psychoeducation, is to always leave the audience with a practical takeaway. So that'll be invaluable. And as has the entire interaction been, thank you very, very much once again. I wish you all the best for all your therapeutic endeavors and as a parent. And we will be in touch.
Thank you so much, Karthik. That was wonderful conversation. I simply enjoyed it.